Hey, this is Rick Casalage, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In this video, I wanted to go through, I fell on my cheek and now I have leg pain. What exercises should I do? This video is kind of inspired by Richard. So Richard sent in a question. Here's my pain issue. Several months ago, my wife saw a daddy long leg spider crawling up the wall. She asked me to stand on something and get it off the wall. I did, but lost my balance and fell on my butt. Mostly landed on the left cheek. Several months have passed and I still have pain that shoots down my back of my leg to my left calf. I've seen my doctor and my doctor has ruled it out as being anything serious or seriously nerve related, and has said that it ends up being mainly hip tightness. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for the question, Richard. It's excellent that you've seen your doctor and ruled out anything more serious. If you end up having nerve symptoms, in your seat, down the back of your leg, you need to kind of get it ruled out and have it ruled out that there isn't anything more serious there. Now, if he has said that it's just muscle tightness that's leading to the neurological signs, we can end up working with that. And the exercises that I would end up focusing in on, and if someone came in and saw me when it relates to that, how I would end up approaching it would be based upon like it being a piriformis pain syndrome, injury, or a sacroiliac pain syndrome injury. And the three exercises that I would end up getting you to do, the first one, Donna Lee will demonstrate. Good, there you go. So it ends up being a standing back arch. So you're standing, you can have the legs hip width apart, or you can have them shoulder width apart, depending on how much balance that you want. The wider apart they are, I find that you're able to arch back more. So Donna Lee has her hands like on her hips, and then she's arching back and really working on that low back area. Okay, good, and I'll get you to face this way. Yeah. So hands on the hips, arching back, we're really focusing on that low back area. And the reason why we're doing this exercise is a lot of times when it comes to hip pain and SI joint pain, people end up lacking good movement in that lower back area. So since there's poor movement in that lower back area, more stress gets put on that hip SI joint area. So we want to loosen up that mid back area. And then also with this exercise, it helps push you more into hip extension. So I'll get you to face this way and go through it just a couple more times. With this one, it forces you to kind of go into hip extension. So you almost get like a stretch in the front of your hip, which ends up being a good thing. So that's the first thing that I would end up doing, Richard. And when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity sets, I would do 1, repetitions 5, time, smooth controlled movement to a good hold at the end. So that could be 2 seconds and you can progress to 5 seconds. Intensity ends up being light. It's a mobility exercise. We're working on improving the movement in that lower back, and also you might end up getting a light stretch. Now moving on to the second thing that I'll get you to focus in on, I'll get Donna Lee to demonstrate. This ends up being foam rolling out the glutes. So you got a foam roller. This is a 3-foot foam roller. You don't necessarily need a 3-foot one, but you can end up utilizing a 1-foot if that's what you have. So Donna Lee, so instead of it being in this like this, you have it at an angle. So she's going to bring her right cheek onto the foam roller. She's going to cross that right leg, good, and then she's going to kind of move the foam roller around her hip joint, looking in order to kind of target the deep muscles within that hip joint. And a lot of times it ends up being piriformis. So my assumption is with the fall onto your cheek that these deep muscles in the hip have kind of locked up or tightened up, and we need to end up loosening up. Now when it comes to sets, reps, and time, 1 set, repetitions, a good 5 movements. One direction and back would be 1 movement. Time, smooth, controlled movement, and then intensity. You want to feel like you're getting a massage, or the muscles are being massaged in order to relax. You're not looking for screaming pain, because you're going to get the exact reverse happening. Muscle is going to protect itself, and you're going to get more tightness and more pain. Perfect, Donnelly. Now, if you're not able to get on the floor, there's an option that you can end up doing. You can end up utilizing the chair, and Donnelly is going to demonstrate this one. So you get a ball. So what we have here is like a blue lacrosse ball, but you can use any ball. I find with this, like a ball of this size works well. So like a baseball, softball, lacrosse ball, softball end up working good. Anything smaller, you don't really feel it very much. So you're going to have a seat, and Donnelly's going to demonstrate it self-massaging the left cheek. So she has the ball on her left cheek around that hip joint, and then she's going to move side to side circles in order to target those muscles around that hip joint, and doing the exact same thing as we did on the floor, but you're not having to get on the floor. You can end up doing the exact same thing sitting here. So you can end up picking whichever option that you want to do. When it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, same thing. Sets 1, repetitions 5. Time, smooth, controlled movement, and intensity. We want to feel like we're having a massage, but we're not looking at screaming pain. Now, the third thing that you should end up doing, Richard, ends up being a stretch, so a glute stretch. So Donnelly's going to demonstrate. This one is moving back down on the floor. Now, if you're not able to get on the floor, you can end up doing the stretch in your bed. So usually a bed ends up being about this height, 2 to 3 feet off the ground, and it's usually easier to get in and out of the bed, and you can do this in bed. So you're lying on your back, you're going to cross the leg over, and then you're going to actively use your muscles to bring that knee out, and that'll end up targeting the muscles in that glute area, glute hip joint area, and that ends up being it. Now when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets are 1, repetitions I do 2 on each side alternating. Even though it's just your right cheek, I'd end up doing on both sides. It ends up being good for both hips, and it gives that the right side, let's say it's the right side, a bit of a break when you go through on the left. Now when it comes to time, you're looking at a 20-second hold. Intensity, you're looking for a light stretch. Now you might not even be able to get in this position. You might only be able to get to like this, and that's perfectly fine. It'll increase with time as you do this stretch, but then as you go through the 3 things. Perfect. So there you go, Richard. Thank you very much for the question, and give those 3 exercises a go. Now, if you want some of my other tips and tricks when it relates to back pain, then I recommend you click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tricks That Fight Back Pain and Tightness. Click right here. Let me know where to send that brand new free report, and I'll send you that brand new free report right away. Now, if you're watching this on tablet, smartphone, iPhone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will end up being exercisesforinjuries.com/backs. Let me know where to send that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you have a question like Richard, leave it down below in the comment section. And then lastly, hit subscribe in order to get future pain relieving videos.